We mentioned the Ground Zero controversy. Of course, it was great fodder for Jon Stewart last night on Comedy Central. Take a look at his riff.
I was not commenting, and I will not comment on the wisdom of making a decision to put a mosque there.
Oh, well, that's walking it back a little bit there. That kind of reminds me, actually, of his campaign slogan, yes, we can, but should we?
And that kind of sums it up there. Karen Tumulty from the Washington Post, Post Politics Time. We appreciate you being here. And that Saturday statement versus the Friday statement just seems to have made things worse for the White House in terms of explaining where the president stands.
Oh, absolutely. The president has managed to get the worst of both worlds on this. He made people angry with his Friday night statement on the right. And by the way, 70% of independents are opposed to this project as well. And then all the goodwill that he got from the left from Friday vanished when he recalibrated on Saturday. Although, by the way, if he had said on Friday what he said on Saturday, there probably wouldn't be much of a political problem here at all.
Is that polling pretty old? Do you think that the way people feel in New York and nationwide will change as this debate plays out?
Well, the polling is relatively recent. CNN did a poll where they found that almost 7 in 10 Americans were opposed to this. And again, I think most importantly, 70% of independent voters. So this is something that catches a wide swath of voters, and particularly the ones the Democrats really need this year.
What is your sense of how and why the White House decided to get involved in here? Clearly it wasn't politics, right? There was something else that was motivating the involvement here that's got a lot of Democrats frustrated.
I think the president, and was told by his advisors, the president has felt very strongly that this was the right thing to do, that he needed to say this. As his spokesman Bill Burton said, it's not the president's job to weigh in on every zoning dispute, but it is the president's job to stand up for religious freedom. And I think that's what the president thought he was doing on Friday.
And how about Harry Reid playing this? He puts out a statement yesterday through his spokesman saying that he does think that the mosque should be elsewhere. That's the Sarah Palin position. That's the Newt Gingrich position. That's the position of just about every Republican and a lot of Democrats as
and
well.
The president, it's important to note, at least as the Saturday statement indicated, has not really weighed in. He says, I'm not going to say anything about the wisdom of doing it. I'm just saying that it is their right to do it.
And the president's in Washington today, where voters are dropping off their ballots. I guess it's mostly mail in there, and it's this strange open primary where the top 2 people go on of either party. We think it'll be a Democrat and a Republican. What are we going to learn from Patty Murray tonight?
Well, those of us who remember the history of Washington state politics can recall that back in 1994, one of the very first early warning signals as to how deep a trouble the Democrats were in was when Tom Foley failed to clear that 50% hurdle in this very primary. So it'll be an indication, I think, both of what Patty Murray's situation is, but also, I think, of the national mood.
That's right. And as we talked about, if the Patty Murrays and the Barbara Boxers and the Russ Feingolds of the world are in serious jeopardy, then we could be talking about control of the Senate.
Exactly. And of course, at this point, it does look like the Republicans really have to run the table to actually get control of the Senate back. Right. But again, the House race is very much in play.
That's right. And just briefly now, Zach mentioned this at the top, but if you're running as a member of leadership, you've got a particular amount of baggage. It's harder to separate yourself from Washington. We don't see ads from her like the ones we've seen from people like Blanche Lincoln.
That's right. And certainly, considering, as you had mentioned earlier, she came in as the ultimate outsider in 1992. It was the year of the woman. She was the mom in tennis shoes. She is running very much as a part of that Washington establishment this time. She cannot shake that.
That's right. She is it. if you really want to get down to it. All right, Karen Tumulty from the Washington Post. Post Politics, thanks for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
That does it for this edition of Top Line. Thanks for watching. You can click us again tomorrow. In the meantime, it's twitter.com/Rick Klein, twitter.com/ZByronWolf. Did you mean to rhyme at the top there? I'm
a poet, and well, you know the rest.
All right, good. Well done.